Hello my friends, we have some of the news from the front lines. It seems like Ukraine expands the territorial gains in Pokrovsk-Dobropilya direction. For example, in Vladimirovka village, Ukraine pushed a little further by a few meters, but still it is an expansion of Ukrainian confirmed territorial gains. So Russia, by the way, tries to move somewhere in this place. They expanded here, by the way, so it was yesterday, it is today, but they lost their positions with the gray area in this place. Not far away from Novoshakhova village. Well, as a variant, maybe they tried to reach their fellows in Kucherev Yar. Those Russians are being encircled there for already 1 month or maybe even more. So of course it's the bad situation for their fellows. But this Russian group is apt to be cut by Ukrainian armed forces from Mayak village and from Nikanorovka. I guess Ukraine sent extra reinforcements towards Pankivka to expand from this place. So the situation for Russians in Pokrovsk-Dobropilya direction is not good at all. But for now Ukraine is not going full in Novotoretsky direction and in Rozhne because it's mainly concentrated to cut Russians here rather than in this big sector. So I don't think that with those Ukrainian extra reinforcements sent, Russia has any sort of the chance to propel the same way as they did 1 month ago towards Zoloty Kolodets. Well, maybe they would like to do it, but for now it's unreal. And actually, guys, I have an information that Russians try to regain control over Volodymyrovka, so they advanced using the motorcycle convoy. We have this image from the place geolocated. There are 3 of the Russian motorcyclists, but apparently something went absolutely wrong for them because Ukraine continued to use FPV drones. So Russian attempt here absolutely failed. They were not even able to reach Volodymyrovka, and were put it not far away from Pankivka, but Pankivka was already taken by Ukraine, liberated. So it's understandable with this part of the front line, Ukraine still keeps initiative. But now let's go to kind of the tricky situation for Ukrainian armed forces in Kupiansk city. I see that Russia already expanded the territorial gains over here in this bridgehead before Ukraine had the chance to cut Russians here. But now it's getting too wide for the counteroffensive operation. Well, you may say that Ukraine could have advanced from 2 of the directions, but here is the war obstacle, so it's not possible to attack from Sinkivka, let's say, just from one single side. But Russians already expanded a lot. The good news that for the last 24 hours Russians didn't go deeper into the Kupiansk city, and Ukraine deployed kind of the capable forces out there, the 3rd Army Corps. Well, I don't have direct mates or friends in the 3rd Army Corps, but they publish videos on their Telegram channel, and I follow them. They publish up-to-date videos, so we may judge where they're located and what kind of the operations they do on the front lines. In some of the cases, especially if it is like this GoPro video, it is published with some of the delay, but drone images, they're out there right away. And the last ones were from the Kharkiv region, so they're definitely deployed in Kupiansk area. And about the most capable Rubicon Russian unit, well, Russia deployed it there, really, but Ukraine recently kaputted the place where those Rubicon operators were launching their drones from. And this video was even published by the Russian channels or shared by Russian military bloggers. Here you can see Ukrainian FP2 drone, which is similar to FP1 that flies and hunts the Russian Rubicon drone operators. That is how it's done. So Ukraine, with the help of the surveillance drones, is capable to identify the positions of the Russian soldiers, and later on the FP2 drone hits their place. The drone is so powerful that it may eliminate a single house. There were multiple of the strikes, and Russians confirmed their losses. The construction of FP2 drones is almost identical to FP1, but it may fly for a lower range of 150 kilometers, but may carry significantly more payload, roughly 105-110 kilos. So my weight is 100, it may carry me easily delivering somewhere, but no, it's better to deliver some of the TNT to Russians. By the way, the company that makes those drones is Firepoint, the same that makes Flamingo missiles. Well, Russians say that it's the analog of their Shahid drone or Giran 2 modified version, where the drone operator receives the signal live and able to fly the drone very precisely, but I would say that in this case it's more like analog of the Russian Lancet. judging of how Ukraine is using those drones right on the front lines. So as you see, my friends, it's a drone war. Drones are fighting against the drones of the enemy, and Rubicon really suffers a lot there. And if we go south a bit towards Liman direction, you may see that Russia attacks here. So it was yesterday, it is today. Well, mainly there is no like significant change, just the gray area colored into red, yeah, just a little more expansion here towards Shadriholove village. Yeah, Russians have multiple of the attack vectors towards Liman. They again want to take the settlement under control. But advancing further, I don't think it's a good perspective for them here, because this river of Donetsk, well, it's not an easy one to cross. Absolutely, it's kind of wide. And where else Russia moves, I would say, every day is in this direction. This is the crossroad of many of Ukrainian regions, Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, Donetsk Oblast, and Zaporizhia. And here, I guess, right, yeah, here Russia moved for the last 24 hours, just a little. Before they advanced here much faster, taking way more ground. Guys, in my last video I said about the possible kaboom night in Russia, and definitely it happened like that. This is one of the biggest Russian refineries out there, Saratov refinery, which was hit already many of the times, but still there is lots of the equipment that wasn't touched by Ukrainian drones before. There are at least 5 of the refinery units in this huge refinery enterprise. So one more of those units was flatlined tonight, thanks for magnificent Ukrainian long-range drone operations. Yeah, all of those videos I shared on my Telegram channel. There are multiple of those were filmed, so please follow me there as well, because on Telegram I may upload the content with kind of the low censorship. And yes, follow me elsewhere. The links for my social media is in the video description below, and especially it's important for you to follow me on Patreon, because that's how you motivate me to film content on this channel. It's already morning in Saratov, the picture from the local households, and they say that it was Novokuybышevsk oil refinery. Yeah, of course, fire there continues, as you may judge on the smoke. Oh, those are the Beaver drones this time, not FP1, not Luty, but Beaver. Ukraine has multiple of the models of the long-range drones. And here we go with geolocation. So someone from those buildings filmed this huge refinery of Russia with kaboom visible in this direction. So this place, yeah, somewhere in the central part. Kaboom is what Russia always needs. Well, at the same time, Russia launched the combined attack on Ukraine. The main targets for them were Mykolaiv and the Dnipro cities. Also, some of the drones were spotted in Kiev region. All of them were shut down according to the information I have. Some of the drones proceeded to Ivano-Frankivsk and Khmelnytsky. So Pavlograd, Dnipro, Ukraine tried to shut down the drones, but there were too many. Yeah, this is the Ukrainian city Dnipro. Something is really burning there. I cannot tell what is there. I don't have this information, and now it's fresh, but later, of course, the information about this one will be revealed. What is interesting, that Russian army lifted its strategic aviation. They flown to the Caspian Sea and they performed those launching maneuvers. I was monitoring Ukrainian channels all the night, but it seems like those bombers, they didn't launch their cruise missiles. They returned back to Angles. This water actually was taken on their way back. But Russians launched their ballistics missiles also towards Dnipro and towards Kiev. Those could be only intercepted by PAX-3 modification of Patriot missiles. Yeah, S-300 also may try to intercept those ballistics, but it wasn't made for this purpose, and Ukraine is simply in lack of the missiles for S-300 systems. Yeah, unfortunately, in Dnipro, one of the residential buildings was also hit by the Russian drone. Yeah, the fire erupted there, fire brigades were deployed. And those are the trajectories of the drones and missiles which Russia sent the last night to Ukraine. Yeah, to Ukraine only this time. But we'll see what could happen next. I hope that NATO will be more prepared for repelling Russian aggressions with drones, airplanes, and so on. Well, the last night it was a massive attack by Russia. 500 of the drones roughly were sent and around 20 of the ballistic missiles. A couple of years ago that number was really outstanding, but now it's kind of usual, and Russia is producing more of the drones, so they will be capable to launch even 1,000 drones per single attack. That's crazy, and we are heading towards that number unfortunately. Wow, this thing is damn huge. Taloka torpedo drone, or how you can call it. Yeah, it was presented a couple of days ago in Lviv, right on the stadium, as the part of the military exhibition. And just try to guess the warhead, like the weight, yeah, how much it could be for this huge 12-meter long torpedo. The answer is 5 freaking tons, 5,000 kilograms. Wow, guys, just look at the size. This is enormous, and I already seen some of the videos or photos, photos published in the internet with the real tests of this torpedo. And this guy in military uniform, he's sitting there scrolling the phone. Well, he is probably aware that this missile is damn safe. Probably there was nothing inside by the time. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, this stadium entirely would be just flatlined, vanished, as it has never been built. This is probably the most powerful piece of the military gear Ukraine has ever made as a sovereign country. And half a year ago, I guess it was, then Ukraine launched some of the underwater drone to target the Kerch Bridge. So drone actually penetrated all of those defense measures of Russia and hit one of the pillars, causing damages to the road itself. Imagine this torpedo going there, 5 freaking tons. Of course, it's gonna be a significant damage to the bridge. It would be destroyed with 5 tons of TNT. No matter how strong those pillars are, they will not sustain this energy. 5 tons, it's too much for everything. An interesting video was shared by Ukrainians, and I found it on the Russian channels. You see M777 system somehow smoking. Well, because it is not a system itself, it is a dummy of M777. Yeah, Ukraine just put some of the smoke generators to simulate the fire of the real M777. Like it just fired. Russian drones, look at me, go to me, hit me. That's the purpose of the dummy. And I think that drone operators will be really convinced with this one, but Ukraine went even further. On M777 dummy, Ukraine put some of the solar panel, and here goes the heating element, which heats the barrel. So the dummy will just shine bright for the Russian thermal cameras. And of course, Russians will try to heat it, because you see there is the barrel, it is hot and it is smoking. It looks like M777, it smokes like real artillery, but in fact it's not. And it's not just a single unit, you see there is the other dummy on the side, so it's like a massive production of those dummies for Russian drones, especially for Landsats, because they're more expensive compared to FPV. Well guys, I'm gonna keep you updated. If you really want to support my job, please follow me on Patreon or on membership of this YouTube channel. The link for my Patreon is in the video description just below. Thank you for making this content possible. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.